Hello everybody and welcome back to a new video. I am Pat from Pat's Path Predictor, and for tomorrow there is now a moderate risk that has been issued for parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. Let's go ahead and dive right into it just so we can show you what's going on. Alright, so this is what we're dealing with right here. There is a moderate risk here for most of Mississippi, eastern Louisiana, and parts of western Alabama, just outside of Birmingham, as you can see it right here. This basically now encompasses what the enhanced risk was. The enhanced risk has really exploded in size, essentially, and the moderate risk kind of just took over. So, yeah, it includes the city of Alexandria, Louisiana, Jackson, Mississippi, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Monroe, Louisiana, and Hattiesburg, Mississippi. So, yeah, this does not look good in any way right here. And when we get into the synopsis, we'll talk more about that. The enhanced risk now expands through the rest of mostly Louisiana, about half of Arkansas, a little bit of the Boot Heel, Missouri, southeast Missouri, tip of southern Illinois, parts of western Kentucky, western Tennessee, and pretty much the rest of the state of Alabama and the Florida Panhandle. And as you can see it right here, it includes the city of Little Rock, Jackson, Tennessee, Memphis, Birmingham, Mobile, New Orleans. So, yeah, I thought I'd show that to you. And then there's the slight risk, which now goes all the way up to parts of central Illinois, including the city of St. Louis and just outside of Springfield. Yeah, and as well as into eastern Texas, most of the rest of Arkansas, more into Missouri, more into central Kentucky, parts of eastern Tennessee, parts of western Georgia, and a little more into Florida Panhandle. So, yeah, that's basically what's going on. Good cities of like Lufkin, St. Louis, as mentioned, Evansville, Bowling Green, Chattanooga, Atlanta, those areas. And then the marginal risk includes the cities of Houston, all the way up to parts of northern Illinois, just a little bit further south of Chicago, including Peoria, Hannibal, Missouri, Springfield, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Tallahassee, Florida. So that's essentially what's going on. The generic thunderstorms basically cut the country in half. So, yeah, that's essentially what's going on right here. There is a moderate risk for severe weather across portions of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. Summary: a regional outbreak of severe thunderstorms is expected on Wednesday across the lower Mississippi Valley and the southeast states. All severe hazards are possible, including significant gusts over 75 miles per hour and strong EF2 tornadoes possible. And if we go ahead and look at the risks right here, a tornado threat right here, they have it at where the moderate risk really is. That's why they issued the moderate risk, because there's a 15% hatched area, which means there's a 15% probability of EF2 to EF5 tornadoes within 25 miles of a point. Same thing with most of the 10% in that area with a significant severe in the hatched area. That means the same thing. And then the 5% goes through the slight risk and 2% the marginal. So there's that. The wind threat is the biggest threat right here. There is now 10%, that hatched area means there's a 10% or greater probability of 65 knots with it, or 75 miles per hour within 25 miles of a point. Now, this area is under, it's under a 45% chance. So there's a pretty good chance we're going to be seeing some extreme winds out of this. 30%, most of it's in the hatched area as well. 15% continues the slight risk, and 5% continues with the marginal risk. So that's essentially what's going on. The biggest threat here is the wind threat. The hail threat's only 5% across the board, so we shouldn't be worrying about hail. The biggest threats are the wind and the tornado threats, and the wind threat appears to be the bigger threat of the two. So let's go ahead and get into the synopsis. A strong southern stream shortwave trough is forecast to extend from central Kansas through Texas Hill Country early Wednesday morning. This shortwave is expected to progress eastward to northeastward through the day, becoming increasingly negative tilted as it does. Strong mid-level flow will accompany this trough with 100 plus knots at 500 millibars, stretching from southeast Texas eastward to through the mid-south Wednesday afternoon. Additionally, the very strong low-level flow will precede this feature with a large area of 60 plus knots at 850 millibars expected across the Mississippi Valley Wednesday afternoon. Low-level moisture advection will also precede this shortwave trough, beginning at at least the low 60s dew points through the mid-south Tennessee Valley. Upper 50 dew points will likely reach the lower middle Ohio Valley. These dew points will help foster at least modest buoyancy, and thunderstorms are anticipated as the shortwave ejects northeastward over the moist and buoyant air mass. Given the strength of the wind fields, severe thunderstorms are likely, particularly across the lower Mississippi Valley in the southeast, where a regional outbreak of severe thunderstorms is anticipated. Lower Mississippi Valley into the Tennessee Valley and southeast. A line of thunderstorms will likely be ongoing from the Ozark Plateau southeastward into East Texas early Wednesday. Expectation is that for the line of storms to quickly move eastward, outpacing a cold front while moving southeastward into the Mississippi Valley. Widespread clouds will limit diurnal heat downstream of this line of storms, but strong moisture advection will still result in at least modest buoyancy and air mass destabilization. At the same time, wind fields will strengthen considerably. This combination of buoyancy and very strong wind shear is forecast to result in a strengthening of the line as it moves eastward into Arkansas and Louisiana during the early afternoon, before then continuing quickly eastward across Mississippi and Alabama during the evening and overnight. The kinetic fields, especially in the low areas of around 850 to 700 millibars, are forecast to be very intense. Mean wind speeds of the HREF show a corridor of 70 knots at 850 millibars from central Louisiana to southern Arkansas at 18Z, or about 1 o'clock p.m. Deep layer mean winds are forecast to be 65 plus knots across much of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama as the line moves through. Expectation that these robust wind fields will result in intense convection line capable of widespread wind damage. Embedded QLCS tornadoes are also likely within this environment, including the potential for strong tornadoes, EF2+. The fast storm motion could result in longer track QLCS tornadoes than typically observed. So, I want to highlight this last bit real quickly. QLCS and tornadoes are also likely within this environment, including potential for strong tornadoes, EF2+. So, yeah, QLCS tornadoes, those are generally tornadoes that pop up in a squall line, touch down for a little bit, and then just pop right back up. But now there are some there's possibility that these tornadoes could be potentially strong on top of the wind that's going to be with this thing. So this thing is not kidding around. I would start preparing if you're in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. I'd start preparing now. So, yeah, this thing will not kid around. There's already a moderate risk issued, so you'll kind of know what to expect at that point. But anyway, let's go ahead and get back into the synopsis. In addition to the strong wind gusts and embedded QLCS tornadoes, discrete supercells ahead of and or south of the primary convective line are also possible. Any discrete storm that is... Okay, this just updated. Any discrete storm that is available to mature or deepen will likely be an intense supercell capable of producing severe wind gusts and strong tornadoes. However, as the forcing for ascent in fast-moving character of the shortwave, as well as the convective line, do not favor discrete convective mode, and the current expectation is for the linear mode to dominate. Mid-Mississippi to Ohio Valley, less low-level moisture and buoyancy is anticipated in this region compared to the further south. However, strong forcing for ascent should help maintain the convective line as it moves eastward through the region. Strong wind fields support the potential for damaging wind gusts for any deep convection, even in areas that exhibit shallow, low-level stability. So, already, this is a big problem right here. They issued this around 1:30 in the morning. There wasn't enhanced risk before, and then they saw that there was becoming more certain, and they issued the moderate risk. The reason there was an enhanced risk in the first place was because there was a bit of an uncertainty going on. So yeah, this whole outbreak is going to it's pretty likely to happen at this point. We're going to expect at least a severe weather outbreak. I'm not sure about tornadoes because this looks like it's going to be one giant squall line that is going to cut the country in half. And what I mean by cut the country in half, it's literally going to be from basically like Michigan all the way down to Louisiana and Mississippi. That's what some of these models are forecasting. But we'll get more into that later as more information develops. But until that time, that's going to wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. It helps me out and helps me make more videos like these. It also helps inform more of the public about what's going on with these weather events. If you're down in the deep south, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, start preparing for it now. This storm is not kidding around, and this storm could potentially be very dangerous. And please, 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 for the love of God, stay safe.